G'day all, I'm Starlight, also known as Starlight Lemming, depending on which usernames have been taken in the games I play. And today I'm going to do a grand key opening to celebrate my 2nd anniversary of playing Gems of War. On the screen you can see my website. There's stuff from other games on there as well, but most of the content is for Gems of War, and that includes a whole bunch of quick reference tables and some printable stuff as well, which will be updated again shortly. But as for today, well, I started playing Gems of War on the 16th of June 2018 Australian time. So I suppose technically that was a week, a day earlier, a day later, a day earlier. Anyway, in American time, or game days or whatever. Time zones are complicated. Okay, so let's turn off the overlay, which is that one. And let's go open some keys. So I have, before I do that, let's talk about the troops you can see down the side. So basically they're the troops that I'm looking for. I'm missing 4 mythics, and Zathanos obviously, but I have to craft that. Champion of Anu, Doomclaw, Queen of Sin, and Undine. 2 of those would give me extra stars on Kingdoms, so I'm particularly keen to try and get those. I'm also missing some legendaries in terms of not having enough copies of them to upgrade to Mythic. And let's see, I've got a list here, so I think Summer Imp is the one in the table. I hope it is. If it's Spring Imp, then that will be awkward. Anyway, so I need at least 3 copies of Summer Imp, at least 3 copies of Captain McCall, and at least 2 copies of Krampus. However, in my mind, I feel that I basically need to have my troops not just to Mythic, but also to have 4 copies of them at Mythic for completeness. I've tried to argue that with Tacit as far as Zuul'Goth goes, and he's not really on board, which probably makes sense. Having more than one Zuul'Goth seems a little bit excessive. Anyway, the 4 troops that hopefully are not too small to see down the bottom there, I have at Mythic, as you can see. However, I'm missing, let's see, 3 copies of Eldritch Guardian, 2 copies of Patience, 2 copies of Matron Dragatani, and 3 copies of Sir Quentin Hadley. Also missing a whole bunch of copies of Manticore Protector, but since he just came out, I'm not really expecting anything. I don't think he's in the drop table yet, basically. Okay, so I've turned in, or claimed rather, all of my Orbs of Clans. And I think it's time to go. Let's open some chests. So, here we go. I reckon I might start with gem keys. Yay! So let's try 50 at a time just to see. Oh, that could take a while. Well, never mind. We'll see how we go. So, fingers crossed. Here we go. No, I'm not going to go through all of them. There's nothing under Epic, so unfortunately nothing there. And here we go again. Ooh, very nice, but not terribly useful to me. Incidentally, I did get Emperor Corvash, my first copy on my other account. Still nothing. Gee, Holy Sinastra seems to not like falling. King Silenus. Nope. And that's pretty typical. Always very frustrating trying to look for mythics. I tend to... Hey! I got a Sequentin! Yay! Okay, just need 2 more to max him out. Nothing else there. Yeah, I always find that I'm much more likely to find my mythics not in gem keys, but actually in surplus glory. Wow, not bad. Or legendaries I already have. Okay, nope. Yao is always an amazing troop to have. They're not really all that meta anymore. Malcandes's been used in a lot of teams recently. No. And no. We've had one so far. RNG can be a real mistress. Captain McCaw! Yay! Alright, so there's one Captain McCaw. Yay! What else we got down here? Not too much. No. So obviously over the course of 2 years I've picked up most things and I've basically gotten to the point now where I can get most new troops as they come out. The Captain McCaw and Grampus were problematic because I didn't have... Oh, what happened there? Did I spend gems? Ah, well. Looks like we're out of gem keys. Alright, next one. Let's go glory keys. Yay! Let's go 200 at a time or this will take forever. Yeah, so the legendaries that I don't have maxed, it's mostly because I didn't at the time have very many event keys. And now I've got a much bigger hoard. Yeah, that'll do. Stack? Something like that. Divine Ishbala. So, let's see. Glory chests can always be a bit frustrating. Litterclaw. I like Litterclaw. It's a shame it's not more useful. Right. Nope. Maybe this isn't the most exciting way to do it, but we're gonna do all of them. So, it'll take a little time. Ooh. It's always exciting when you see that orange colour at the top. And of course and always disappointing when you don't. Roz the Undefeated. For some reason I still think I don't have enough copies of him, but I actually do. Oh! We're out of keys! So, alright. Well, that's typical, but we'll come back to that. Right now, let's do some glory. No, let's do some seals. Okay, so fingers crossed. As you can see, 18,000 seals, and that's just from 2 weeks, because last week I didn't need to use seals to get the mythic. I was very lucky actually. I got it from gem keys, which was the first time forever. And so it's last week's and this week's, and plus all the Orbs of Clans. So let's go, fingers crossed. Yeah, that's about typical. Oh, come on! I want at least one mythic. Otherwise this is all going to be very counter... well, going to be disappointing. Anticlimactic was the word I was looking for. Ah, lots of stuff. Nothing very useful. I wonder if this would have been more interesting to stream. I haven't actually set up my streaming yet, and I think it would have taken a bit too long. Sooner! Don't need sooner. I think I've got 3 of her already. Still, it's another mythic. Yay! Always exciting, as I said, to see the colours at the top. Alright, let's see. Krampus! Yay! We got another Krampus. Only need one more to make it mythic. Because I don't really want to use my Orbs of Ascension on the legendaries. I'd much rather use just event keys. You never know what those Orbs of Ascension might be useful for, and of course they're useful for the lot of the weekly events. I'm not even sure I'd recognise one of the epics. Actually, I have a feeling they're not in the drop table yet anyway, so maybe I should keep some of these. No, we're going all the way. Leviathan. Used to be a good troop, apparently. Always annoying in delve rooms when it submerges. Summer Imp! I was right! Yes! Okay, one Summer Imp. Where's Summer Imp? Ooh, I do need quite a few copies of that. Yay! Okay. Lasher. Quite an annoying troop to play against, actually, especially if you face it with Rowan, but it's not much use in your own teams. But yeah, Lasher hits 3 different troops, so your Rowan loses armor and can't do as much damage, and if you're playing a borderline kind of difficulty with your Rowan team, can be a little bit annoying. Alright, we're almost there with this lot, and yeah. Well, we've had some stuff to show for it, but not too much. But we're not quite done yet. Oh, that is quite a lot of legendaries, none of which I actually want more copies of. Alright, we're going all the way, I said. Yeah. One chest at a time. Eerie. Chimera. I never know how to pronounce it properly. We used to call it Chimera in the old D&D campaigns as kids, but I think it's like Greek. Chimera. Chimera. I don't know. Dragon Turtle. Lamia. And finally and uselessly another Dragon Turtle. Well, there you go. Alright, now, I'm not going to do event keys because I have everything I need from there, and I'm not going to do gold keys, but we have a whole heap of glory. And what I tend to do is, in the last, I don't know, 6 months, a bit more than 6 months, basically I've been spending anything over 200,000 glory, and that's worked out pretty well because I think 70,000 glory was the most I had to spend to get one of the new mythics. So in theory, we're going to do 67,000 lots of 50 chests in glory. Yay! It's not, well, yes. 67 times 50. I think maybe we just look at the top. Oh. Nothing! This is of course frustrating as well when you are looking for a mythic like this, but it seems to pay off just because of the sheer numbers. So, fingers crossed we'll get at least something that I need. Grapple pod. Quite sure if she's a useful troop or not. Certainly interesting to face. Shegra. Birchthorn was one of those troops where I'd spent so many jewels of whatever colour it was, amethysts or whatever, in the thinking sapphires, in the Soulforge to get it up, because I hadn't, I think I skipped the event or something, or maybe I just didn't buy enough to get it up to legendary. And it's actually not a bad way of pushing up your, pushing up your troops. Ah, there we go. Behemoth and King Silenus. Yeah, so if you, for some reason, either miss an event or don't buy a troop, enough copies of a troop because you're saving on resources, or just early in the game, the two best ways to get more copies, as far as I know, is one is event keys. So you figure out which kingdoms you actually want to spend event keys in and wait for that kingdom to come around. For some reason, Black Bjorn is still bugged on my iPad. The image doesn't come through. I don't know if I need to reinstall. I hate doing the full download. Anyway, back to what I was saying about missing groups. So yeah, you can try and use event keys, and I've certainly, well, in fact, if I can't get Captain McCaw and Krampus, enough copies of them, Medea, yay, then that's certainly something I'll be doing when their kingdoms come around. A little bit of a waste in a sense of gem keys, but not gem keys, of event keys, but I'm so close now to maxing everything. One step closer! Yay, Krampus! So, that is 2 copies of Krampus. Krampus can now go mythic! Yay! And I'm going to mark that by doing that! How exciting. I pulled out all the stops here. Alright, let's keep going. So yeah, event keys are not a bad way to get more copies of troops that you need. But of course, there is the problem. Oh my god! It actually worked! Queen of Sin! Yay! I don't think that gives me any more stars, but it will as soon as what is it called? The what is it called? Oh my god, I got Queen of Sin. I'm so excited. Alright, let's mark off. Where is she? Queen of Sin. Tick! Yes! Very good. Alright, Cinemirage, that's the one. Right, so as soon as Cinemirage gets another couple of troops, I think. Actually, let's go have a look. Ooh, upgrade offer. Yeah! Kind of expensive in my mind, although you do get the Medal of Nisha, which is pretty good, really. Still, I'm trying to save money, so let's just have a look. What do we need? Ah, yeah, we're a couple short, so I will upgrade her shortly, but for now, just enjoy the fact I actually got one of the mythics I need. Whoops. Chests. Here we go. Let's see what else we can do. Ooh, that was exciting. Right. And of course I interrupted myself because I do that. So let's keep going because I don't want to make this any longer than it needs to be. Yes, so event keys. Good to use to get more copies of troops, but it's always a balance to try and keep enough of them to get the new legendaries, at least one copy of them. And the odds are not fantastic, so actually let's have a look at what the odds are for a new... Here we go, that really should be an information icon, not a question mark. Okay, new legendary, 3.2%. So, in theory, I think that means you should need to open about 30 to 40 event chests to get a new to get one copy of a new legendary. So for safety, you'd want to keep maybe 50 to 100 on hand in the lead up to a new legendary. And obviously, if you're going for 6 of them, then you need 6. How many? That's what you need for Mythic, and then plus another 3, so 9 to get, you know, all of at Mythic. That can take quite a lot of event keys. That's why you don't want to waste them. All right, back to the opening. Of course, the other way I was saying that you can get troops that you've, or copies of troops that you've been missing, anything up to epic. Another summer imp, yay! Fortunately, I still need one more to make it mythic, but we go somehow, one at a time, preferably 3 at a time. Actually, alright, let me show you in the Soul Forge. We have troops, we have summoning stones. If you click on the question mark, it shows you what you can get. So, this is a reasonable way of getting enough copies of specific troops that maybe you've missed out on up to Mythic. And generally I'll open like 5 at a time. For me, the jewels are not really a problem after 2 years of play. But obviously these are now used for crafting weapons as well. As you... that's a generic. So here's the ones for the week. So 600 versus 50 for a troop. Obviously it's a random thing and it's based on the colours of the troops. So this one has blue on it. Any of the, if you're looking for a troop with yellow on it, they all have 2 colours so they can appear in 2 different summoning stones. Right. Yeah, so watch the numbers that you're using, but I think it's a pretty good way. I think I had to max Moira that way as well. When she let me down during Guild Wars because I only had her legendary. Very disappointing. Alright, let's see what else. And there's Moira. See, I crafted all these Moiras and now I keep getting them. But that's kind of the point with this game, that if you have patience, things will come your way eventually. Alright. I gotta say, I mean, I haven't been playing this game all that much recently. I've been kind of just scraping in the bare minimum of what I need to do, like all the events and that kind of thing. But I really miss it, and unfortunately I've been playing this other game, whose name I shall not say, because I don't want anyone else to accidentally try it. The Leviathan, yay! The game that's taken up so much of my time is because it has hourly events with hourly leaderboards, and you have to, and it if you're not paying, like I paid $2 into the game, so it's pretty much free to play for me. So yeah, if you're not putting in lots of money, and I've heard of people putting in hundreds of dollars and even thousands, it's crazy. There's just no, you know, it's a bottomless pit. So that's been taking up so much of my time because the hourly leaderboards actually give you a real boost Oh, patience! Patience! I needed a patience! Yay! I wonder how many I missed. Wow. Alright, let's have a look. In actual fact. So... patience. Aha! Okay, I didn't miss any. I still need one more copy, but it's really cool to get that. And oh, that's good. That reminds me now. So there is something in the drop table to look out for in the epics. Yay! Yeah. So it's just takes so much time to do these hourly events, and if you're trying to get on the leaderboards, it takes forever. And so I'm trying to quit the game, but. Yay! My other patients! That's awesome! Alright, so, hang on. There it is. Ta-da! Yay! I've got 3 ticks. That's pretty good. Especially because one of them was a mythic I needed, and 50% of the mythics I've had I actually needed. That's a great drop rate. Very exciting. Yeah, so basically don't play any games that require you, that suck you in that much, that play on your psychology. Because I'm susceptible. Luckily I'm not susceptible to the spending side so much. My trick on that one is always compare to the price of a full price game. Basically a AAA title, when it's on special on Steam, is around about, I don't know, 50, 30 Australian dollars if you don't buy it on day one. You wait 6 months for the next sale. So anything more than that on a mobile game seems a bit of a waste. On the other hand, I've probably paid about $120 on this game, Australian, and oh no, American, I think. It's more than that Australian. Luckily the exchange rate was quite a bit better during most of the 2 years I've played. Pretty awful at the moment though. As you could, oh no, that offer was in American dollars because Steam for some reason puts American dollars in here. That's alright. It's I've got a credit card that gets rid of the international fees. Oh my god, we're almost done and I haven't got anything else. One more. Come on, fingers crossed. And no. Alright, well, I'm gonna stop there because that's kind of my limit. Really don't want to go too far below 200,000 glory because, as I said, it can take as much as almost half of that, maybe a third of that, to get the new mythics when they come out, in my experience. That's pretty much where I leave it. I could spend some gems on VIP keys, but I don't have enough because I've been spending some of them on pets actually. Tending to buy cosmetic pets up to 15 copies. Halfway. You keep going, yes, you get good value, but it's so expensive, so many gems. So, let's have a look at my new purchases, or new acquisitions rather. So here's Krampus, and up you go, my friend. I've left him at level 5 because I am currently using major Orbs of Growth on Mythics and Legendaries because it just makes sense. As you can see, 13 here out of 24 Orbs of Ascension. Got far fewer Orbs of Wisdom, but a third of 80, which is how many major Orbs of Wisdom I can craft, is at least, it's about 23 or something like that. So I've actually got enough there for a second Zuul'Goth. I certainly don't think I do here. Hang on, 10 and... ooh! of Ascension. Is it 4-1 or 3-1? Let's have a look in a moment. Yay! There's my Krampus. Nice. And the other one across was... I'll go back to the Forge in a moment. It was the Queen of Sin. So... obviously, Orbs are the only way to go with these. With Mythics, if you can. And there's the Major Orb of Wisdom. For a Legendary, I would craft the first trait and then use Orb of Wisdom for the other two. For an Epic, I would use an Orb of Wisdom for the middle, the second trait. It's just, and I would use a regular Orb of Growth for the last level of an Epic. It's just, these things keep coming in, so it's about, once you have a lot of them, which does take a while, admittedly, and has a lot to do with how active and how high performing your guild is. But yeah, once you have a lot of them, there are more and less efficient ways to use them. Let's give her a medal. No. That would be a real waste. There we go. Queen of Sin maxed. Very nice. Now what was the other one? Oh yeah, I got my patience. And I almost got enough copies of the Summer Imp. Oh, I'm one short. Oh well. It happens. If not today, then maybe another time. Now, what was I going to have a look at? Oh, that's right, in the Soul Forge. So, to craft Zuul'Goth, you need Orbs of Power. Now, to craft a major orb, it does take 4. So I've got, oh, well, there it says, I can craft 7 of them. I've got, how many do I have? Let's see. I've got 13. I'm up to 20 out of the 24 I need. That's pretty close. Of course, I was originally planning to craft another Zuul, but as Tacit has pointed out, they are likely at some point to introduce another troop that could be equally as costly to craft. Or similarly at least. So, yeah, you know, I just wait on that. Now, the big question is, do I craft Champion of Anu? And the answer is, I don't think so. Actually, check my little list. No, let me check. Champion of Anu is from Sword's Edge. Let's jump in. So, if I got Champion of Anu, I would go up. Not exactly worth it. Anyway. Oh! Hey! Morgan Woods went up to 13 star. Yay! That is awesome. So what got me that? That must have been Krampus. Yes! Alright. So, love it. This is the problem if you don't get them enough copies straight away. And you can, of course, use, you know, the Orbs of Ascension, but, well, I'm saving for another Zuul'Goth. Okay, obviously Captain McCaw didn't come in, which means Black Hawk is... oh, it doesn't matter yet. Well, there you go. Just as well. Hopefully I'll get that other copy soon. Was there something else on the show? I'm not sure. Oh no, the reason that I'm not going to craft Champion of Anu in actual fact is because Doomclaw is blocking quite a few stars on Erskaya. Yeah, see, I'm only power 9, and I think it's up to... how many troops are there? Oh, that way. 8, 12, 16, 20, 22. The 22, looking at my printed out table over here, would be 13 stars. So that's quite a lot more than the 9 I have. So basically going to wait for Doomclaw, and I'm not sure. Atlantis, Undine. Yeah, it's not holding me back too much. So there you go. One step closer to crafting Zathanos and getting everything I need. Not a bad job, really. Of 2 mythics, one of them was one of the ones I needed. That's actually pretty amazing odds. And of course, sooner. Well, just a tip. Sort by base rarity by default, and then say filter, and then apply filter, because it just makes things a whole lot easier. Earlier on in the game, I actually used to sort by upgradable, and I still do that on my alt account. But there's my Queen of Sin, yay! And I got another stone hammer at a legendary task from my guild, which is a bit annoying because I crafted him just a couple of months ago. 5 sinners! Of course, that's not as bad as the world break. I've got 6 of them. I actually crafted my first copy, and then 2 weeks later, it dropped for me from a key. So sometimes that can just happen. But there you go. That's how RNG sometimes works. Oh, I know what I wanted to show. So this is, I maxed all of my classes to level 100 3 or 4 classes ago, just before last year, I think. So I think it was just before Barbarian came out or something. I'd been grinding a whole lot in casual PvP, which is the best place to go quick battles, because Rowan team can basically, once you're in endgame, Rowan is able to one-shot team scores up to about 6,000. And you can even go higher than that. If you've got Reflection of Good, you can go for 2 shots as high as, I think, 9,000 team points, something like that. But anyway, depending on where you're at, you can one-shot in casual PvP teams with using this team. Or you can put a cleanup group in a cleanup weapon rather in first place, in which case your best option is, let's see, I think, yeah, Dancing Daggers is a pretty good cleanup troop for Rowan, because it doesn't block her from anything. I think there's a few others as well, and one of the ones that Tacit recently pointed out was Fiend Fire. Here it is. Because when you cast it, you curse all enemies, which then allows Rowan to hit anyone who was submerged. So that works pretty well. But you can also use a generator, like Mountain Crusher. I'm using Reflection of Good because it enchants. So if I ever need 2 casts of Rowan, which I can do at about, I think it's tier 6, tier 7. It's 1 tier up from the from this team, from the Phoenicia team. So Phoenicia usually one-shots at Explore difficulty 4, 5. You can sometimes, endgame, you can drive it up to 6. Oops. Oh, review. Yay! Yeah, Rowan, I found I could 2-shot 2 above that, and generally I can use it for delves on Tuesday events all the way up to, up to level 80 for sure. and level 90 is okay, but the last room might take 3 shots. But yeah, I mean, if you're using this team, I've forgotten what I was going to say about it, to be perfectly honest, but oh, that's right. So this is the team to use in casual PvP to level up your classes as quickly as possible, basically. You can also do it in Explore, but since the Explore interface has changed, it's actually quicker to do it in casual PvP. And to be perfectly honest, it was actually faster in casual PvP before as well. You should, because you get twice the experience. So you should be doing 2 to 3 battles per minute in casual PvP, whereas you're really just doing 3, maybe 4 battles. Oh yeah, you can do up to 4 battles on Explore difficulty 2 or 3, depending on your stats. But you get double the points in the class XP in casual PvP. So this is really the team to use. And yeah, you can either use Reflection of Good is good if you sometimes need a second cast, but basically just keep repicking your teams until you get something which just costs 50 gold, until you get something that is under 5,000 points, or I can go up to about 7,000, 8,000 without too much trouble. I think I'd go up to 7,000, certainly up to 6. Oh, and the other trick is, so casual here, you can repick. The reason I'm not seeing and won't see anything much lower than that is because I've already done all my PvP, so that's my PvP done for the week. If you instead put in, I mean, you should be using a team like this anyway on defense, there's no point trying to win, and you sometimes get gems from the cascades, so the leprechaun's also good. And you don't want to go pure fire bombs because of the way that opponent teams are picked for you. It takes into account that you don't want identical teams. They did that a few patches ago, so yeah, mix up your treasures and and your fire bombs and that sort of thing. Anyway, if my actual score was under 500, like at the beginning of the week, I could probably get it down to 0 just from defenses, but you do need to lose 1 ranked battle first, just to put yourself into the selection pool for PvP battles. So that's actually a pretty trick for leveling your classes. But the thing that I was going to show off, which has taken all this time, is this. So yeah, 3 or 4 months ago I was at level 100 on all my troops, and I basically stopped playing casual PvP, which means I was getting a lot less trophies and a lot less gold as well, because you do get quite a bit of gold from casual. And but I realized that there was no point doing it anymore, because I could just passively level the new classes as they came out, and now that they're all out, I think I'm maybe a week late. It's 2 weeks now, but I think last week or the week before I leveled Doomsayer, which was the last one, to level 100. So now I have all my classes level 100, and yay! So oh, you can use the scroll thing. There you go. This is just for evidence. Evidence! Yay! So taking screenshots for fun. So we don't know if there's going to be more classes, but certainly it would make sense to have a construct class for the Guardian Kingdom, and an elemental class for the Primal Kingdom, which is all the imps. And I mean, you could have a gnome class for the Vault Kingdom. I don't know what you would do for the Apocalypse. Can't believe I messed that up. Apocalypse Kingdom. And there's no class for Wargear or Wargara, apparently. I prefer Wargear. And yeah, but look, there's stuff coming in patch 5.0 very soon. Yeah, at this point, I think I've run out of things to say. Wow, streaming is hard, and I'm not even streaming, I'm just recording, and I just keep chattering away and away. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Oh no, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to tack on a special thing. So I have been intending to do a pronunciation video for a very long time. Inspired by Tacit, who streams Gems of War almost daily, unless he gets distracted by things like Animal Crossing, which he did recently, which not really my thing, but there you go. Hey, I can, oh look, I've over 200,000. Let's do one more. Wrong thing. No, wrong thing. Here we go. One more for luck. Dun dun dun. That'll teach me. Anyway, I've been meaning to do a true pronunciation video, because Tacit is not the best at reading what's in front of him sometimes. And that makes perfect sense. That's okay. We all have our issues. I have issues disconnecting from the game, the other game I'm addicted to. So I'm going to go through and just read out the kingdom names and the mythic names, and somewhere down the track I will do a proper video which explains things like accents and all that sort of thing, like the linguistics behind it. I'm kind of really interested in linguistics as in an amateur way. Actually speak 4 languages in various ways, and have various degrees rather. Reasonably fluent in French. Mais pas assez pour assister avec ce jeu. Yeah, I need to get in the mode to make it work. Anyway, yeah, so alright, let me just say a couple of things. Accent's not really important. Accents tend to, so I've got an Australian accent. Accents tend to adjust the sound of vowels, and not really a whole lot else. Sometimes you do also get a change in the flow between through a sentence, and particularly the ups and downs in terms of pitch. I've heard it called the melody of a language. So to become, fluent, this is not relevant. Okay, let's speed this up. Okay. The one thing that English speakers have a lot of trouble with is getting the prosody of a word right. Now, prosody can be a whole bunch of things, and I'm not exactly sure of the exact definition, but one of the things it means is the rhythm of the word. So, which syllables do you put accents on? So, a manathrax is a good one, because you could, so I've just put the accent on the middle syllable on man, a manathrax, but I could put it on the last syllable. This is tricky. Manathrax, or a manithrax, and the classic thing, or amanathrax, and it sounds different, and but it's not the same, and it's not. It sounds different, but it's not the same. Okay, it's important is what it means. So the classic one is the word elephant, which is just a different rhythm to saying elephant. And no one says elephant. everyone says elephant. And so this is something that English speakers tend not to pay a lot of attention to because we kind of just memorize the way it works for words. But if you're coming across a new word, particularly a fantasy word, it's something to really pay attention to. So, I mean, my tips for tacit would be sound out each syllable so that you actually read each letter, and then pay attention to the prosody, the rhythm of the word. So let's go. Let's do the kingdoms first, and then I'll also do the mythics, and somewhere down the track I'll do this a bit more properly. So Adana, simple enough. All-seeing eye, because they're words. Amanithrax, that's the other thing I should just say, is that often there are wrong ways to say something, but there can be multiple right ways as well. So Amanithrax, really, that's about the only way to say it, but there are other things where I'll give you a couple of options. So Black Hawk, Blighted Lands, Bright Forest, all very simple. Broken Spire, City of Thieves, my nemesis. No, there's another one that's my nemesis. Crypt Keepers, Dark Pits, Darkstone, Depths of Sin, Bruxzoom. Now, this is an interesting one because I know that Syrian, the designer, the prime designer of this game, main creator and the boss at Infinity +2, he's one of the Infinities, I guess. No, maybe he's one of the +2s. I always think the pluses came after because it started out as Infinite Interactive. Anyway, I know that Syrian is a Lord of the Rings fan, and if you read I'm kind of doing this for the wrong one. Anyway, if you read the appendices to the Lord of the Rings, Tolkien was a linguist himself. He was a professor of linguistics and Old English, I think, and so he pronounced things in particular ways, and there is actually a mistake in the appendix. It puts it the wrong way round, but the key thing is that Tolkien actually has very specific pronunciations for DH and KH. Now, most of us just say Druxul, but there is an argument that it should be Bruxzoom. So a DH or a double D in Welsh, I think, can be pronounced like a hard TH. But I think we'll stick with Druxzoom on this one because Druk is a bit awkward. Anyway, I meant to say that for a later kingdom, but I got myself mixed up. Anyway, Divinian Fields, Dragon's Claw, Drifting Sands, Fangmoor, Fell Roost, the most recent one. Quite an annoying last room, but not so hard to do pure faction. Forest of Thorns, Frostfire Keep, Golvania. I guess you could say Gulvania, which kind of reflects the undead thing. Or Gulvania, the bit of a, just to make it special. But I think Golvania, there's nothing really obvious for a GH sound that I know of. Glacial Peaks, Groshnak, Hall of Guardians, Karakoth. Aha, here we are. Now these are the Tolkien ones. So Tolkien pronounces KH as H, which is the Scottish CH in Loch, is the usual thing, but it's basically a very hard H at the back of your throat. So in Tolkien's case, it was the bridge of Khazad-dûm. In this case, Khazil and Khatar, except it doesn't quite work. So Khazil I'm happy with, most people say Khazil, but Khatar doesn't quite work. I think Khatar is probably fine. So there we go. Leonis Empire, Lyrassa's Lair, and Morgrim Woods. Now the interesting thing about Lyrassa is, in theory, it could be pronounced Lirasha, which would be a Polish pronunciation. So SZ is normally a sh sound in a lot of languages that don't use accents, but also don't use SH for sh. So it could be Lirasha. However, there is an exception, which is in Hungarian, an S is pronounced as sh. So SZ is pronounced as S, as a regular S. And they have some other really complex stuff too. But I think that we're just kind of going with the obvious thing, the anglicised version, which is really what I'm trying to do with all of these names. So it could be a Lirasa or Lirasha, but Lirasa, actually Lirasha sounds pretty cool, but Lirasa is the most obvious thing. It could be Lireza, but yeah. Anyway, Morgram Woods, whoops, Melantis, Mirrored Halls, Mist of Scales, Hands Vale, Pride Lands, Primal Rift. Very little here of interest, I guess, from a pronunciation point of view. Sea of Sorrow, Shentang, Silver Necropolis, Silverglade, Sin of Mirage. You could, in European languages, a J is usually pronounced like a consonant Y, like in the word yes. So it could be Sin of Mirai, but yeah, this isn't the place for that. If it were at the start of the word, the J could well be pronounced like a Y, but here it's Sin of Mirage. Stone Song Airy. Airy is one of those words that gets pronounced different ways in different languages, like Irie, I think, but I've always thought of it as airy, so there we go. Stormheim, Suncrest, Sunken Fleet, Sword's Edge, The Deep Hive, The Warrens, Urskaya. Could be Urskaya, because an Urska is I think it's the Latin for a bear, but we're in English, so Urskaya, really. Weirwoods, or Weirwoods in American. Whitehelm, Wild Court, Wild Plains, Zejin. I actually prefer Zejin. It's a variant on the way that a J can be pronounced in English. And then Julkari. So ZH is traditionally in English how you write a J sound, like you would find in the word pleasure. Yeah, it's basically ZH is J. So Julkari seems to be the best option as far as I'm concerned. Now, let's do the mythics. Abenicia. You could pronounce it Abenicia. See, it doesn't work. Abenicia. Aquaticus. Arachnean Weaver. Arachnean Weaver, possibly in the vowels. But the emphasis is definitely on the second syllable, so Arachnean. Champion of Guard. The double A usually indicates an extended sound. So guard. Champion of Guard. Death. Draculis. Could be Draculis, but it's a bit of a weird one. Draculis. I think Draculis best. Oh, plus it's from Gulvania, so there you go. Elamorgrim. Uriali, coming from the start. Ur is like Europe, and it could be Uriali. No, Uriali is probably your best option. Fallen Valdis, Famine, Guard's Avatar, Gargantor, High King Irongut, Infernus, Jotnar, Storm Shield. So, he's from Stormheim. It's obviously north. It's a Scandinavian type of mythology. and the Scandinavians are definitely amongst the Europeans who pronounce a J with a Y sound, so it's Jotnar, Storm Shield. A lot of people will say Jotnar, or which sounds ridiculous, or Jotnar, which sounds much better, but it really should be Jotnar. Ketris the Bull, King Bloodwood, Megavore, Australis, Mother of Darkness, Obsidious. I always wish there was an O in front of the U there. It just... well, it would be the same as the bad guy, one of the elite monsters. No, rare monsters in Diablo 3 is spelled Obsidious with the O. Pharos Ra, or Pharos Ra, really. Phoenicia, Plague. You can say Phoenicia, I guess. Phoenicia? I don't know. Phoenicia. That's an Australianism, possibly, that Australians tend to skip syllables or blend them together. Plague. Queen Aurora, Queen of Sin, Sacred Treasure, ha 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 ha. Scorpius, Shade of Zorn, Sharbanu Vespra. You were not expecting that. Okay, so the word Shah in Persian means king, and apparently Sharbanu means queen. It's basically, Banu means like female version of, or something like that. So what I don't know is exactly where the emphasis goes, but you definitely want to read it as two separate words. So it's Sharbanu, or it could be Sharbanu, but it's not Shabanu, because the Shah is kind of the important word. So Sharbanu is, I think, what I'm going with. Sharbanu Vespra. Yes, okay. So Vespra could be Vespera, so it could be Sharbanu Vespera, but so Vespera is the way an Australian would kind of blend it together, and basically I think it means Queen of Wind or Queen of Breezes, because a Vespa is a light breeze. So Sharbanu Vespra. That one's tough. Skadi, Stonehammer, Suna, Sycorax. I'm basically pronouncing that the way, because it's similar to one of the bad guys in Doctor Who recently. So Sycorax doesn't quite work. Sycorax just sounds better, and I can't remember what the bad guys were called, but it works. So I'm going with Sycorax, the Grey King, the Possessed King, the Wild Queen, the World Breaker, Tianyi. I don't know how to pronounce Chinese words very well, so I'm just kind of reading that as is, but it seems okay. Tina 9000, which stands for Tesla's innovative new artillery. Tina! And it has to be 9000 because it's a mythic. Uberstets. It could be Bastets. In fact, given the Egyptian influence, it probably is. But we call it Uberstet. Umanath, same sort of reason. Umanath, the main emphasis is on the last syllable. Vashtagon, or Vashtagon, I don't know. Vashtagon. Vashtagon? Either of those kind of works, so yeah. Voice of Orpheus, War, Will of Nisha, Wolfgarok. The U sound there is from the German, effectively, because Wolf is the German for wolf. So that's clearly its inspiration. So Wolfgarok rather than Wolfgarok. It just sounds wrong. Wolfgarok. Yasmin's chosen. God, that took me a while to get. Zuul'Goth. You could also just go with the CH as a K sound, Zuul'Goth, but it's actually easier to turn it into a H. So Zuul'Goth, and then there's Zuul'Goth. Again, the W lengthens the vowel. There's Abarath, or Abarath, Abarath, I don't know. Alright, I'm not going to keep going, but I am going to do one. And you can guess which one it is. Okay, so known as Cathy in the studio, the obvious pronunciation of this, if you look at it carefully, is Therazix. Which is really hard for English speakers to say because of the th. It's not a combination that English speakers are used to. Also, the Y's are just there to make things a little difficult. You could go Therazix, but it just doesn't work, so it's much better. Generally, when choosing whether to make the vowel Y long or short, you go with whatever is easier to pronounce. So the word crystal, for example, you don't go crystal. That doesn't work. And in this case, it just makes sense to go Irazix for that part of the word. Now, the first part of the word, the trick is, and there's a Russian Formula 1 driver called Daniel Kvyat, which all the British commentators have trouble pronouncing for the same reason. They say Kvyat because the KV just doesn't really work. So the trick is you feed into the vowel. So you don't try and say the CTH here on its own. You go all the way into the vowel, into the I sound. So kse, or in the case of kviat, you just run it through, and that's the trick. And it's actually the same as pronouncing Q's. That's their closest English equivalent that actually is in English. So queer, for example, is basically a KW sound followed by a vowel. And if you went kw, it doesn't really work without the vowel at the end. So, Therazix it is, and I'm sticking with it. And thank you very much if you've got this far through the video. I've almost lost my voice. There was a lot going on there, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Check out my website. It is due for an update fairly soon. Probably next week, in fact. I did pretty well out of the key opening. I got one of the mythics I need, which is a huge bonus, and I got a couple of other cards that I can at least use. They're not completely wasted, and yeah, there we go. And I finally did some of my pronunciation video, including some of the explanations, so which of course has made this very long, but yeah, I'm going to put the link to the website in the description, and I'll also see if I can do chapters, but I'll put time codes in anyway for the different parts of the video so that you can find things a little quickly, particularly for the reference stuff at the end, which I might even put up as a separate video just for fun. So thank you very much for bearing with me, for being with me. Do like the video if you liked it. If it was so-so or just too long, just move on. No need to dislike it. Just move on. Alright, see everyone in-game and enjoy Gems of War. 2 years in Gems of War! Woohoo! Only missing 3 mythics! Yay!